Skirious problems.
Right, Mika. Do you have a serious problem, mate?
I have a fucking serious problem because actually the guest we have on today is the guy that both you and me want to be so bad.
Yeah.
It's a bit unreal, actually.
Yeah, but unfortunately it is, yeah, fuck. But we've got Johannes Høsflot Klæbo on the podcast today. And thanks for joining us today.
Nice to be here. It's going to be interesting to talk a little bit about skiing and everything around, I guess.
Yeah, there's probably lots of things about life, actually, when you're a guy like you, such a high profile, in the news constantly, all the time. But there's also like a life behind that, I guess, which people don't really see because honestly, we only see you do like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of... one thing is everything you do when you're out there racing and preparing yourself when you're traveling. But like I said, it's kind of my goal is to have the best possible life that I can have when I'm staying back home or on a training camp or just being me. You know, I feel like a lot of questions and a lot of things are talked about when it comes to me being out there skiing. But I think it's good for me to also have like a safe place where you can actually be you. And I think that's kind of the good part with podcasts and what we have done with YouTube and everything as well, is that it's good to show the people that are watching us on a little bit different side than only when we are out there racing. I feel like that's it's good for the viewers and it's good for kind of the fans to actually see what we do outside of training and outside of racing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think like I feel like when you know the person you're watching on TV, it's like you feel like so much closer to that person. And I feel like sometimes we've also experienced it. Like some people like come up to us and oh, Jimmy or Mika, like my mates, like they listen to us in their ears when they're training, and then we don't know who they are, but then you get that connection. I think that's like so good actually. So I kind of I get what you mean, but I guess for you it's also about like how you cope with having a fuckload of people that know you and you have no idea where they are.
And that's kind of the challenging part, because when you do kind of a lot of things on your social media or showing people what you're doing, and then people actually feel like they know you and I have no clue about them, and that I feel a little bit rude, because it's is there something I should have known? But on the other hand, it's like impossible for me to know so many people and to keep track on all the people that are watching us. So, but you kind of, I think if you have a mindset where you actually are trying to be nice, I feel like that's and it will help at least.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But I mean, like I'm a bit starstruck while I'm talking here. So when I'm stuttering, you have to be understanding, because usually when we talk about you, we only make fun of like this press conference you did, which was career changing, and then you just got a new sponsor, which we kind of want to have as well. But how do you cope with all the criticism of like nobodies like us that are just?
I mean, it's just part of life, you know. I feel like I've been in this on this train for so many years now, and I feel like I'm really privileged that I'm able to do what I love, which is skiing, and on the other hand, I can actually make a good living out of it. And I know that it would be way easier if you played soccer, because it would be a lot more money into it and it would be something everyone could live out of comfortable. But now it's like, you know, that some part of it is the challenging part, and for me it's been really a privilege. And I feel like when people from not being in skiing also are criticizing you, I feel like it's just part of the game, you know. I really don't care, to be honest. I feel like if there is something I have done which makes some noise out there, I feel like I did something right, you know. Then people are starting to talk about it, and a lot of times it's always come down to being a little bit jealous, and I'm really not taking this for granted, because I feel like I have been really lucky to be able to be in the position that I am right now, and I wish more people could experience it and kind of be in the same position, because I think that would be better for skiing as well.
But that's the thing with racing. There's just one guy that wins, and unfortunately for us, that's usually you and not us.
Yeah, but it is possible for you to let us win as well. Like, you don't have to win everything.
I know, but the problem is that I have this. I love competitions so much.
Yeah.
I get so kind of triggered by being in the competition, and to be able to. I just love the situations. I love the stress and all the challenging part which are part of racing, and I think that's what makes me love this sport so much, because I feel like every race has their own kind of way of living, basically, and I feel like we have done Ruka for I don't know how many years, but it still is different from year to year, because conditions changed. Waxing, it's cold, it's warm, it's so many factors that are actually being a part of who will come first and who will come second, and I love that part of it, that it's so challenging.
But also in life, like let's say you'll play a game of cards with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
How competitive are you?
If you ask her, I think you'd be shocked. Like, so we played. My family had a kind of game night last weekend before we started here, and the game was about actually trying to trick the other people to think you're loyal, but you actually are a traitor. I don't know if you played that.
Yeah.
Secret Hitler is the Norwegian name, or it's not a Norwegian name, but it's
a good name as well. Secret Hitler.
So that's kind of that's a game, and it's based on like I wanna try. If I'm a traitor, I'm gonna play as a loyal, basically. And my siblings are not able to lie to people. And for me, it was like no problem, because it was about competition. So my girlfriend was just shocked that, are you so good at lying? I'm like, it's a competition. That's part of that's what we are doing here. So I just love competitions. And I feel like it doesn't matter if it's skiing or if it's playing car or if it's soccer in the springtime. I just love the part of where you actually compete against each other.
But so see, this is because there's people that love competing and there's people that hate losing. Which one do you reckon you are?
I think maybe I'm on the last one. I think I hate losing so much. That's why I like competing as well, just because
makes you so competitive. Yeah,
I think so. I think losing is what makes me. So if I kind of lose a race, that's when I start thinking more, and I do more crazy stuff to be able to get back to normal shape, or like being back to compete with. So I remember like in Davos some years ago, and Pellegrino beat me in the sprinter, and I was like, that was the only thing I was thinking about the whole Christmas. And then when we came back in Tour de Ski, I was like, I didn't want to go fast before we came to the finish line. Like, I wanted to be the last 100 meters to just make a revenge, really have the same kind of duel, because that was where I lost 2 weeks ago, and I want to do the same, but I want to make another outcome of it right now.
For sure, yeah.
So, but I think competing at some part is good, and I think it's, for me mentally, I love the part of racing. I love competing, and it is the same with golf. I feel like that's kind of been my thing in the summer, that golf is kind of stimulates me a lot because it's actually a competition against yourself.
Yeah.
And that part I really like. And for me, I feel like cross-country skiing is a little bit the same. I mean, you're training so many hours during a year, but most of those hours, or a lot of those hours, you're training by yourself. For me, that's competition against myself, like how you're able to work out over a longer period of time.
That actually brings me to another question. I mean, after Trondheim, you've basically, like, let's be honest, like, no matter what you'll win from now on, for the name Johannes Høsflot Klæbo in all of the world, it's not gonna matter, because you are the greatest cross-country skier of all time, and like, you can be the greatest cross-country, but you get my point. And then I follow you on Instagram, and we see all these pictures of you chilling in Cannes and laying on the beach and going for a wee run with, who was it? Niklas Dierhaug and I think Emil.
Yep.
And then we're like, yeah, nah, he's lost it. Like, nah, he's just chilling now. And then I come to Livigno for a training camp, and I'm like, fuck, I have to train so early here, get out at 6 a.m. And then you see like this one little headlamp. No, I think even without a headlamp. Without a head torch, and you just see like this one guy skiing around. And up you go out at 6 a.m, and there's Johannes Høsflot Klæbo skiing. When you wake up now, what's the thing that makes you wake up at 5 to train now after Trondheim?
I think it is just the thing that I love this game. I mean, cross-country skiing has been my life for as long as I can remember, but I love the fact where we are actually, it's kind of a little bit the same. I'm competing against myself. You're competing against you, and you're competing against you. And yes, when we're racing, we're competing against each other. But I think we are one of those sports out there that are training for 7 months, and then we have a pretty short kind of season compared to other sports. And we don't get that many chances, and we are training for 7 months to be able to race fast for, say, 4 months, basically. And I just think that for me, being a part of this community, just being a part of the cross-country world, for me, that gives me a lot of motivation. And yeah, I know I was completely exhausted, and I felt pretty empty when we were done with Trondheim. And then I feel like you get sometimes out with your friends, you go out and you feel like, okay, but for me, that's like, I don't feel like that's not my life, if you understand what I mean. I feel like I've done it now, and it helps me for my motivation, basically. I feel like, because every time I went out with my friends, it's like when I wake up in the morning after, it's like, okay, now I feel a little bit more motivated. And I just did that for a few times. And then it's like, okay, now we're back on track. And I feel like today it's like questions from a lot of media where people think that I'm not training. I feel like people think that because they see me being in Cannes, or they see that I've been in this movie premiere or whatever it is. But the fact is that I'm working as hard as I can to be able to perform on the highest level, because I love being on top there, and I hate losing. So for me, that's what's matter.
Yeah, but it sounds a bit like you love winning, but you also love training and racing and everything. From what you said, like, not so different than us.
Because I think people listening, they might not be professional athletes themselves.
Yep.
And I think they can't imagine, like, training, let's say, I'll guess, 110 hours a month. Somewhere around that, pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And then doing lots of hard sessions, being on altitude, being gone from home. What kind of stress that is, not only on the body, but also on your psyche, also on your mindset. Then going home from altitude, having a quick film premiere on the side, go into Beitostølen the week after, and just
recording a podcast with us.
And just like this podcast is gonna come out around Christmas, but for the listeners now, we're sitting here after Beitostølen, and then you proceed to, like, basically relegate everybody in the prologue. Like, how? I can't believe there's no question in this. I actually just wanted to say, how do you balance that? It's unreal.
I mean, I think the last week, 10 days has been pretty crazy. I would say that's I won't say that is the normal life that I've been living. You know, I feel like the last 10 days has been crazy in sort of me doing things that I normally don't do. And so I came home from altitude in the evening or in the middle of the day, and then I went for a dinner in the evening, put on my suit and went for a dinner. Did a morning session the day after, and then we had the premiere, which was like a lot of stress because it was, I would say it's 1,000 people maybe in the same kind of big cinema. And then I had similar days like that, 2 days in a row, one in Oslo, one in Trondheim. And kind of the problem is that I was able to bring all my family, and I'm not able to see them that much. So for me to be in Oslo and see the kind of on my mom's side, that part of the family, which I haven't seen since the World Champs. And so we had kind of a celebration after the premiere in the evening. That's where I feel like I should have gone home. But on the other hand, I was like, okay, I also need to take care of Johannes, not like the cross-country skier, but also me. So I decided to stay a little bit, have a little bit of a chat with them. And then I went home, and I went to bed later than I supposed to do. But 2 days like that is fine. I mean, I think for me, it's also important to remember that you're supposed to actually work in a society as well. You know, I feel like I said it in the movie that last year before the World Champs, I don't think anyone slept more than I did. And I don't think maybe people trained more in terms of hours, but I don't think everyone trained more in terms of quality. And I don't think anyone was eating healthier. And that was my life last year. This year, pretty much the same, but there's a few adjustments because I need to be happy as well, because it's kind of stressful to live the way I've lived for probably the last 4 or 5 years, because Trondheim has been like my main goal for so many years though.
What about this new 5-year plan now that I read off in the newspapers? Are you actually going to go on until 2030?
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's bad for us, Jimmy. Okay, maybe right. Leo is sitting behind. Do you have a job in FIS for me?
No, but my goal now is I've said like I'm always gonna take year by year. Like I don't think if I wake up 5th of May next year and feel like I'm completely unmotivated, it's like then I think I will find something else to do. But now my goal is to go until 2030, and that's where I kind of have signed my sponsor contracts now. It's for another 5 years, and I like to kind of have a long-term plan on things. And what kind of motivates me a little bit there is that in 2030 it's going to be in a little bit higher altitude, so it kind of makes it a little bit fun.
The one thing I didn't understand about this whole interview was like you said something about you have like these fast muscle fibers and those got to be maintained. And then it said something about focus, but I didn't understand is your focus going to shift from you want to be like, let's say, do what you didn't do before, win a 10K skate individual start, for example? Or is it meant as in now you'll just focus fully on sprint from now on because that's what you'll most definitely probably will win?
No, I think kind of what I said was that the older I get, the harder it's going to be to maintain those fast muscle fibers.
Yeah, okay.
So depending on how things goes is that it's more likely that I will focus more on the distance, because it's just going to make it a little bit kind of easier based on your age, I think. But that's why also this motivates me to keep on working on with the sprints, because I like the fact that people are saying that you're getting slower the older you're getting, and I want to try to do something with that, like see if there is possible to maintain the faster muscle fibers for a longer time.
Have you ever like been so much of a like in ski mode, like training mode, so much and then you got to the races and you were like, oh fuck, this wasn't worth it?
Yes, for sure. I think there is periods over the World Cup season where I feel like this is just a job, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's something everyone can kind of feel, even though they are not cross country skiers.
Yeah.
I mean, if they have a regular job, I think a lot of people sometimes are tired or just annoyed or just don't feel that motivated to go do their job. And I think that is the same for us as an athlete. The good part for us is that we have 7 months where we don't focus on racing. I mean, we focus on training, but for sure there is days and weeks where you feel less motivated, but I think that's kind of also.
Well, I was more meaning like being away from like your girlfriend and like your family and so on, like leading up for Trondheim, like obviously must have been worth it, but like.
Yeah, I would say that the worst part was that. So my girlfriend has her sister has two kids. They're 8 and 10 years old, and they asked her mom last year if I still was their uncle. That one hit a little bit, you know. That's kind of where you feel like, okay, is it that long since I saw them? And I didn't see them for like 12 months.
Yeah.
And it's just because I was so in the mood, and I feel like that's. For me, that's the worst part about this life we're living. Because I wish sometimes that we had done a sport where if you get a little bit of a cold, that doesn't matter that much. That's the problem in the sport we live in, is that if you get a little bit sick, that weekend are screwed.
And also it's a problem with the time of the year where we do it, because it's just very likely that you will get ill in winter.
Yep. So you just need to isolate yourself from so many people. And I mean, for me, I love to stay in Davos during Christmas, because I think it's amazing to skip all the Christmas things and that part. But on the other hand, it's like there is also a big family time. And on those times, you would like to stay together with your family. But on the other hand, I know that this is going to be for a few years. And imagine in 15 years, when I sit, I will probably be more than enough of those family visits. And I think we are privileged to actually do what we do. And I think all the people that I talk to that has retired, everyone says that you should keep on doing this for as long as you can.
Yeah. No, I get the thing about Christmas. I get so much, because that's like, when you or like when you're with your family, you kind of always like, did this person like sneeze, or did they cough? Like, are they like a little bit sick? Then like you don't actually enjoy the moment, and you're just kind of like in this kind of halfway family time. So I also
than wanted. It's more forced than seeked for.
So I also prefer just being by myself in altitude for Christmas and just grinding.
I think that's kind of was a good thing now with the premiere that we had, was that I kind of put in the budget that I was going to be sick. Like, so I said like, okay, most likely I'll be sick because I'm going to meet 2,000 people in 2 days.
Yeah.
And people are going to give me a hug, and people are going to be close. So I just put that in, and I said, okay, I most likely will get sick. And then I was actually able to enjoy it a little bit more, you know, because I said like, okay, doesn't matter, I'm going to be sick anyways.
Yeah.
So, and
did you get ill?
No, it didn't happen. So I think that's...
Maybe also a mental game.
I think so.
For sure.
Can be a little bit. And the good part was that I was actually able to enjoy it a little bit, which is rare on this time of the year and with so many people.
Yeah.
One last question regarding like Trondheim and then the next 5 years. I mean, supposedly last year at this time of the year, you would have not have done this right now. You're sitting in here, it's like after the race, you're not wearing your face mask. And in Trondheim, you didn't give your girlfriend a hug without a mask. Will you ever go to that place again?
I don't hope so. And I don't think so. I think I don't think that is healthy over time.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think okay, if I lose a race or two more, I think it's worth it, because living the way I lived for, it wasn't only last year, it was like for 3-4 years upcoming for to the World Championship in Trondheim, and I think for me it's not healthy to do that for a longer period of time, just because I feel like
For nobody, probably.
I don't think so. I think you need to have, I think need to be a little bit more relaxed and just be a little bit more calm about it, and that's why I sit here now. And okay, I mean, I think on the other hand, it's like it's good to also be exposed to people, and the more you're exposed to people, the stronger your immune system is going to be anyways.
That's true, yeah.
It's not that I'm gonna, if you have been here sick, I wouldn't have been here for sure, but it's like if you if you like, so there is like, I don't travel to people or meeting people I know is sick.
Yeah.
But if they say to me that they are healthy, I don't need to call their doctor to triple check that.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, that was last year. I feel like now it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Hopping on to another topic, and this is actually something I'm curious about. If you look at most of the greats, you look at, let's say, this is going to be very controversial, Lance Armstrong, he had Jan Ullrich.
Yeah.
If you look at Petter Northug, he had Dario Colonia.
Yeah.
If you look at Johannes Høsflot Klæbo, you had Alexander Bolshunov.
Yeah.
How has his absence kind of influenced your mental mindset, the way you look on your career or yourself, or is there no place in your head for that at all?
No, I mean, I love the fact, and I loved when he was racing against us. And I think I feel like I'm a little bit misunderstood when it comes to media, because I feel like people, and especially probably in Norwegian media, but also maybe in Russian media, is that I was celebrating now when they were not allowed to compete in Olympics. And that's not true at all. I mean, when it comes to only the sport part about it, I would love to have them here. And I would love to race against them, because I know that they are strong. I know that they're training well and they're well prepared. But on the other hand, I feel like it's also a point where the political part meets sports. And that's what I feel like as an athlete, that is a difficult topic, because, and I was just honest and pretty, I would say, I took a standpoint when things happened in 2022, and things hasn't changed, and that's why I still stand on the same place. And but I think it is important to say that I miss them. I miss having them on the race, because I know that they are performing well. But on the other hand, I think it's the right decision that is taken. But I think it is important for me to say that he was a great competitor. He was strong, and he gave me a lot of motivation, and we had so many cool duels, and I think that's what sport is about.
Talking about the cool duels, if you look back on the most intense moment of your career, what was more intense? Taking 3 possibilities: taking your first goal in Trondheim, taking your last goal in Trondheim, or being denied the gold medal when you obviously won it, for everybody knowing cross-country skiing, in that moment in Oberstdorf 21.
Oh, we can give a tiny bit of background for people who don't know at this moment. What happened is that you versus Bolshunov were sprinting for the gold medal, and then Bolshunov took the furthest right corridor, in which you were trying to get as well, but he was a tiny bit ahead of you, and at the time the rules favored the person in front.
Which was total bullshit, by the way, because Johannes was coming with 6 times the speed. So where should he have gone?
And then there was contact. His pole got broken, and then you got to the finish first, but then eventually got disqualified. And Emil Iversen was second, and then Bolshunov was third.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, I think for me, the first one in Trondheim was just a big relief. Just okay, now everyone is expecting me to win the sprint. We're done it. It's settled. It's sealed, and it's just good to have done it. But I would say, like the feelings that I had after the Oberstdorf was quite crazy, because I was disappointed, and I regret until the day today as that I wish I went harder in the last uphill, because I felt really strong. I just wanted to beat him on the last 200-300 meters. So I kind of regret that I didn't push harder earlier. And but on the other hand, that's the beauty of the sport we are doing. It's outside. It's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of things we can't control. They changed the rules after that situation, but for me it was important because I didn't want to take this up to CAS, which was the next step for me. Because for me it's all about the moments. I feel like when you cross the finish line, that's the feeling I'm chasing. I'm not chasing the gold to be there in the history books. I'm chasing the goal for the feeling, and that was taken away from me that day. And then I didn't saw the point of taking this to the next step, where I probably had a good chance of winning, but I don't want to have lawyers decides whether I win or not. Yeah, I want to be crossing that finish line first and get that feeling. Yeah. But Trondheim, I would say Trondheim is the most special one, because it's just, and I think it's because I didn't win in Oberstdorf, because I didn't win in Planica. So I kind of had been close to winning a 50K for a long time, but haven't really figured it out. And then having the 50K in Trondheim in my hometown, winning the first fives, it's kind of a special moment, but also because it was skating, it was tough tracks and the conditions were really tough. I feel like it didn't really favorite me in terms of how I normally do cross-country skiing. I feel like it was too hard. And that's also why it's a little bit more special. So I would say Trondheim was the one I had the most intense feeling, because I saw the pictures of the 50K here the other day on the movie, and I saw how many people there was there, and it was just crazy. When I was out there, I didn't recognize it, because I was just so focused, because it was like, okay, I'm gonna win this race, and I'm gonna fight until the very last breath that I have. So I feel like I think Oberstdorf was building up to Trondheim, and that makes Trondheim a little bit more special.
Yeah,
it makes sense almost.
Yeah.
Right, we're quite long into the podcast, and you have to go and eat dinner soon. We have this one question we ask all our guests. You do one session in one place with two people. What are you doing? Where are you going? And who are you doing it with?
Oh, that's a good question.
Can be anybody, dead, alive, or...
I think I would choose a 3-hour running session in Myra. It's where we do it's a mud in Trondheim. It's like I have my loop that I always do. I think that's kind of a special place to do it. I mean, you can always choose like the most beautiful part, but for me that will be special to bring someone out there. You guys know what I'm talking about. I
think I've been there. Oh my God. This was like when I first joined the British team, and I was like a bit worse than the other guys, and I was hating my life so much.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard work to like run in this like swamps and
So I think I would choose that one. And if I could choose two people, I would actually bring my granddad, because he's been my coach since I was 15, and I can't remember last time we were able to be out running. So to be able to actually run that 3-hour session we are always talking about, which he's never seen because he is never out there. You know, I would bring him, and I think the last one would be Michael Jordan. Actually,
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I would bring him. Imagine him like
That would be
being
nuts,
2
yeah.
meters, running in the in the mud in Trondheim. That'd be an interesting view, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Huh? It'd probably be
That'd
fucking good.
be- That'd be a very interesting sight to see. See Klæbo running with his granddad and Michael Jordan in the mirror.
I think that could be a good threesome.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's called a threesome.
No, I
but,
don't think so either. But I think everyone.
But if you want to take it there, like that's up to you.
No,
It's-
that's not what I
we're-
meant. But
Sex
yeah.
ways, we're forgiving. It's 2025.
But actually, since you mentioned your granddad, I think I haven't seen your film yet, but like I think the people that have seen it said your family was saying that in your family everything's about you and your results.
Yeah.
How do you think they like live it or?
I mean, they have sacrificed a lot.
Yeah.
Because my granddad kind of. So in the movie, it's kind of, we have explained a little bit how he ended up taking a big part of. Like, I mean, he always been a part of our family, but it's like he kind of took a father's figure for me, kind of. So he drove me from back and forth from training, and he was the one helping me with soccer practice, cross-country skiing, running, all the things we did. So he bought all my gear. Everything came from him, and I think that's also why it's really special for me to have had him as a coach since I was 15, and I think that's kind of have led into everyone else taking part of it. So the day I won in Beitostølen 9 years ago, my dad just kind of quit his job almost, just to be able to handle all the things that happened, because everything happened overnight basically. So he kind of sacrificed his work to be able to work for me. And I mean, now we are good, but it's like really, there is like something you really can't take for granted, but you are really appreciating until these days. And then my mom is kind of the glue in the family. She's kind of so when me and my dad is arguing, she's coming in between and being the middle woman there, and helping out with or sorting out the problem. And then my brother obviously started with helping me with my YouTube channel when we started. So that was kind of an idea. I came from Davos, laying sick, watched a lot of YouTube, and I was like, we need to start YouTube. And he went to school and he learned all his editing skills himself. And then
has he always been doing all your editing and stuff?
Yeah, he has. So, and when we started, he had never done it. So he just started learning on YouTube and then editing my first YouTube video. And then, so the first year he made all the music to all the YouTube videos.
Okay.
Because we were afraid of like copyrights. So he
sure.
made all the music to every single YouTube video we made. So we just continued that for 4 years. So it was kind of natural that he took a part of it, and that also has created his career. I mean, he is now doing film, music, and makes a living out of that. And then my sister is she was the one translating the YouTube videos. Nowadays you can just do AI, but back in the days we needed to do it manually. So she was editing or translating all the YouTube videos manually.
So you're the oldest, and then you have 2 younger siblings, right?
So
but then they were never like kind of again about Johannes, like.
I think they have had that a lot of times. So I think I I try to, whenever I can, I try to support them when they have their dreams. So my brother, I helped him with building his studio where he is able to film and produce his music. So I'm just trying to help where I can. The crazy part was that my brother was actually better in me skiing when he was 17. So he had better results than I had when I was 17. And he
Wait, but were you not like multiple times junior world champion?
Yeah,
but I didn't go I was, when I was 16, 17, I was like really small. so I was not able to compete against those big guys. I struggled a lot, but a lot of things happened when I was like 18. I kind of grew up a little bit, and but he was actually better than I was when he was 17, and he barely was training. So he had like he was actually a natural talent, I would say, in terms of like skiing, but he didn't like the fact, and I think it wasn't easy for him as well, because he will always be compared to what I did, and I think there was a little bit the same with my sister. And I think that's why they chose a little bit of a different path.
She was competing until recently, wasn't she?
Yeah, so she competed the whole junior.
Yeah.
And then she quit, and she's now studying for medicine. So she's the smart head in the family.
Yeah, it's probably easier to also maintain brain cells when you're not like training 6 hours a day.
Yeah, I think so. And for me, it's always been about skiing. So all the other things has kind of put that one on the side. Yeah. Now it's a little bit different, because I love to have different projects. I love to have a lot of things to work on and to keep my mind busy. But it's kind of it's not on the school. I do that. Now I'm lucky to be able to do things with, either it's my own company or if it's like investments or stuff like that. It's kind of helps a little bit on keeping your mind busy.
Yeah. Investing. Me and Jimmy are investing time in TikTok. So, yeah. I mean, in consuming, not in producing.
In consuming, yeah. I do the same. So it's good to hear that we are more of us out there.
Yeah. Right. I think we could go on for another 6 hours, but I know that you have to go and eat dinner.
Give us your result, or how Tour de Ski is going to go for you, because this is going to be the next race.
So we need to know Ruka, Trondheim, and Davos.
Okay, Ruka. Let's hope that I'm in yellow bib after Trondheim. That's my goal.
Yeah.
Because I just want to seal the Olympics now, just to be able to know that you're gonna compete on the Olympics. I feel like that's kind of the goal for everyone now. It's kind of make the team for Olympics.
Yeah, but come on, Johannes Høsflot Klæbo.
I'm just gonna seal that. So
okay.
Being in
is there sealing needed for you?
I don't know, but it's just for my confidence. It's just good to have done it.
Okay.
But Tour de Ski, it's I think it's gonna be interesting, because I feel like the 5K we're gonna do, I don't think anyone knows what we are meeting there. I think we tried it in Toppidrettsveka, and it was a little bit
shit,
something else. I would say. But so actually I think it's going to be interesting. I think this year's Tour de Ski, and also the fact that we actually are going to Val di Fiemme, and to be able to see the tracks and the changes they have done with the tracks there before the Olympics. I think that's probably the biggest reason for people to be in Tour de Ski. And it's also the biggest stage, it's gonna be fun. But hopefully I have a big enough gap to Mika when it comes to the last uphill.
I was just gonna say, imagine Klæbo didn't ski, then I'd want a fucking Tour de Ski.
That's actually the answer that Mika was hoping, is like, I'm not going to do Tour de Ski.
I hope I have, but the problem is I need quite a bit before last uphill, so...
Yeah. It's not going to be much distance this year as well.
You don't need so much. Like, if you have 40 seconds, you're good, I guess.
5 races, including 1 sprint.
2 sprints.
And
a 5K heat last start.
So, and a pursuit. So it's actually so little to gain time.
But is the 5K going to be a mass start? Or is it going to be the same as it was in
Trondheim? Yeah. So it's like 5 heats within.
So you have no clue which kind of heat you're.
No.
And is it going to be the same amount of time in between as it was in Trondheim? Because I mean, that was
shorter. It's going to be quite short between each heat.
Is it not meant to be 1.5 hours from first start to last finish? I think they said something like this.
Because that can actually be a challenging part in terms of weather.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's snowing that day, that's going to be
chaos.
Yeah.
Unfair. It is. This has been.
No, but it's going to be super fair, because I'm going to be in the first heat when it's going to be super fast, and then it's going to snow, and Johannes is going to be in the last heat together with Harald, and then I'll win the bloody Tour de Ski.
Yeah.
I saw you. I saw you were skiing in Livigno. I mean, you were pretty fast. So I'm actually curious what you're able to perform here as well.
We'll see. Lave skuldre.
Lave skuldre.
Lave skuldre. That's what people
Low
say in
shoulders.
Norwegian. Low shoulders. But I was gonna say one last question, but I forgot it. Yes, one last question because it's before the Tour de Ski. What's your dream Tour de Ski look like?
My dream Tour de Ski.
Yes.
I wish we did a little bit of those crazy stages we had when I grew up watching Tour de Ski. I would love to have Cortina Toblach.
Yeah. Nice.
I would love to have a 5K or 3K prologue,
Yeah.
like
Very
individual
interesting.
start. For sure, a couple of sprints, but could be those city sprints. I would actually love to have a Tour de Ski where we travel a lot.
Yeah.
Like now it's like Toblach, Val di Fiemme. And when I grew up, like you had one in Praha, and then you went to Oberstdorf, and then you went to there was like a lot of travel.
Yeah.
And
Was it not in the first Tour de Ski something like 9 stages on 6 different locations or something, or 5 different locations? I think
Yeah.
something like
Yeah,
this.
maybe.
That's kind of what I would like to have. I would like to have a Tour de Ski where you travel a lot, where it's like it is stress for your body to travel.
Yeah.
It is stress for your body to recover, and the races are crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to have. And I think,
Okay.
and I'm kind of, everyone is like, you need to shorten things to be, so it's going to be more even. I think when you have 9 stages, and I think we should have competed during Christmas, because imagine we are not having Christmas anyways, so we could have competed the first day of Christmas.
Yeah.
And imagine how many people that are sitting back
Yeah.
home and would love to watch. Instead, we are waiting until people are done sitting back home and want to go out and do other things. So for me, we could have started Tour de Ski on Christmas Eve. If it's
Yeah.
I
if
quite
it was
like these ideas that I'm hearing here right now.
Yeah, I also think it's cool, but I don't think there's that many other athletes that have the same opinion as you do. I think there's lots of Swedes and lots of Norwegians
Yeah,
that
but then
don't
we'll
want
just
it
do
to
skiing
be.
without Swedes from now on.
Yeah, but I don't understand why we're gonna do things easier, always easier,
Yeah.
instead of just. It's kind of a little bit the same with sprints. I think the good part, what I like with sprints, is that we have some sprints are shorter, some are longer, and now it's like we say that the goal is to have sprints between 2:45 and 3:15. No sprints are between 2:45 and 3:15. Most of them are shorter than 2:45, and I remember when you watched the World Cup race in Ottepe, and the winning time was 4 minutes. I mean, it was just. I know
Yeah.
that there is. It's probably controversial to say these things, but I like that we should have done things a little bit harder at some points, because I think maybe Tour de Ski, though, if you had 9 stages, different destinations every time, and some of those harder races, I think it's going to be hard for a person to maintain the same shape for 9 days. Meaning, okay, you can probably lead Tour de Ski with a minute or 2 minutes, but then you're going to go from Cortina to Toblach, and then you have a shitty day, and everything is back to
Yeah.
zero.
Same as Tour de France.
That's kind of the idea, that Tour de France is 3 weeks, 2 rest days. We have 2 rest days on 6 days, 7.
Yeah.
So
6 days this year.
6 days.
Yeah, that's
With 2
wild.
sprints, so that's like for 80% of the field. That's 3 minutes of competing on those 2 days.
yeah, no, I think I would love to be in a group where we could have discussed this for a long time, but I think there is some possibilities out there that we could have really worked around, I think, but we'll see.
We'll just make the group from now on. Skirious
Yeah.
Problems is the
Tour de Ski
make
group.
the Tour de Ski great again group.
Yeah.
I agree.
Daily podcast from now on. You heard it here first. Right, Johannes, thanks for joining. Good luck tomorrow. Good luck for the first race of the season. Maybe leave something for us to win
I'll
as well.
try, I'll try. Well, thank you. It was cool to be here, and I hope it was a little bit interesting, and
Definitely.
Yeah.
it's cool to be a part of it, and it's nice that we have someone out there that are kind of talking our for talking for our sick mother. It's kind of we love skiing and having people talking about skiing. It's good. So it was fun to be here, and I appreciate taking the time to let me come.
Yeah.
Thanks. You
Awesome.
get the outro.
Yeah. Your #1 skiing podcast. Over and out. Ciao,
Ciao.
ciao.
Skirious problems.